Hi, I am Megan O'Boyle, and I am representing my daughter Shannon O'Boyle, and I'm a nervous wreck. And I don't know how to switch this on. Can we put the slides on, please? So the first thing I will tell you is by wearing this shirt, not only is my mother rolling over in her grave, but this shows that people who are representing their child with rare disease have absolutely no shame for getting attention. This says PMS, it's not what you think, and then it does clarify on the back. But I do suggest that NORD have a little workshop with new rare diseases on how to name and not name your syndrome, because we're not the only one with a bad name. So anyway, it is what it is, and we're very thankful to Doctors Phelan and McDermid for getting our families together about 12 years ago. There it is, Phelan-McDermid, it's not what you think. This is Shannon, and today's talk will be about Shannon and this syndrome, but I would guarantee you most of what I have to say would be applicable to most support and research groups here and far. We have all of the same things in common, and so I can best speak to my own situation, but I think that this could be applied to, worldwide. Let's see, this is Shannon, and she's 11 and a half, and these are her brothers, and they don't need a treatment except for getting over being able teenagers, so we'll just delete them for now. If you were to look at a fish dish, and you would see that where the black line is, there's a piece of the little 22nd chromosome that's missing, and that's the case for my daughter. And on it is about 52 genes, and there's one in particular, SHANK3, that's really important. The syndrome is comprised of deletions and mutations, and as technology gets better, we'll have a larger spectrum of patients that may have lesser phenotype because of smaller deletions. Shannon is, a beautiful brown-eyed, brown-haired, stubborn Irish girl, and she loves her service dog, Brutus, and he's there to track her if we ever lose her because she can't speak, and he can find her. She also loves her brothers, who are incredibly patient for teenagers. She's blessed to be in this world of technology right now, because 15 years ago she would have just been considered undiagnosed as, mentally retarded. Perhaps she would have gotten an autism label, but since she's a girl, she probably wouldn't have. But although Shannon is a wonderful, mostly happy child, she's nonverbal, she can't feel pain appropriately, she doesn't sleep well, she has severe GI issues that she can't tell us about because by the time she feels the pain, she can't communicate them. She's starting to have seizures, which you'll hear more about that, how hard that is from other parents later in the week. She's a preteen that can't tell her mother, "You don't understand me." The fact is, I don't understand her, but it's not because she's a preteen, it's because she can't express herself. And, because of technology, we can say that she has this syndrome, or that the syndrome is causing her autism, or that she's missing SHANK3. But, you guys might be saying, well, so what does it matter what you call it? Yeah, it doesn't matter what we call it. I love every ounce and stubborn bit of her. But it does matter from a pharmaceutical and research standpoint, because we know that on this chromosome, toward the bottom, you'll see SHANK3, and that's this gene that we terribly miss. And it was identified probably around the same time that our foundation started, and they've learned a lot about it. And in the last year, we've gotten 6 different knockout mice that have it missing, and I don't understand any of this because my last science class was in high school and I failed it. But what it says is that there's a lot of people smarter than me that know a lot about this gene and its synapses and what it does, and it does a lot. And we've actually found out that it's associated with Alzheimer's and schizophrenia. So we are a very rare group, less than 800 diagnosed in the world. If everybody with autism or intellectual disabilities was genetically tested tomorrow, we would probably be tens of thousands. When you hear someone say, oh, Fragile X is a genetic cause of autism, well, so is Phelan-McDermid syndrome. And possibly just as common, still making it rare, albeit. But, so right now we're focusing on trying to find our families and making sure that people get diagnosed. The great news is that of the families that we know of, these 700 or 800 families, we know where they are. And we're a very close-knit group. And we have Facebook groups in different languages, and we get together every 2 years. And this is the registry I told you about that we got up, and in less than 12 months, I have 350 families that are registered. They answered 200 questions, and they sent me their genetic reports. So don't ever underestimate what a group of parents can do. We may not be scientists, and often they can have bad behavior and be a little nutty, but for the most part, our heart is in the right place. And our group wants to make our data, our children's data, and their biosamples as widely available to researchers and pharmaceutical companies around the world for little or nothing. And that's as simple as it is. We just want to help you save money and save time. And I just want to say, most importantly, is I want to thank you. I don't know if you all ever meet patients or get to meet patients very frequently, but since I started working with the research community a couple of years ago, I sleep better. I sleep better knowing that there are people that I will never see or meet that spend their days trying to find treatments and cures for children like Shannon. And we want to help you help our kids in any way we can. But we're still a small group, and we're still with very few little funds, and we need guidance. And that's what my point was earlier. If you can tutor groups like us on how to be better groups, then you'll get better results out of us. So if anybody has any suggestions on how I can get more funding, perhaps, or how I can attract your attention, or in a perfect world, what you want me to bring to the table when we finally get to clinical trials, please, I'll be wearing the big red ugly shirt. And I haven't gone by my script, so let me just see what I've left out. I think that's it. I think my biggest point here is that the rare disease community do feel like orphans sometimes, and in the last year I've come to understand that even if you're a small group, you're a very giving group, and I know that you guys can do this. If I can get a registry off the ground in a year and I failed science, then surely you can come up for a treatment with this poor girl. And I don't think I'm supposed to take questions, but you're raising your hand, so.